Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel and to the first video in what I hope will be a new tutorial series about mission creation and how to create immersive missions for single and multiplayer. This will first and foremost be aimed towards people new to the mission creation space, and I will not go too much in depth, and I will try to keep it as basic as possible. And I will also try to keep these videos short and as much to the point as possible. So when you first open the mission editor and you are new to this, it might seem overwhelming, and that because it kind of is. The mission editor in DCS is a big sandbox and you can do a lot. Those who have played the Paradise Lost campaign by Reflected Simulations have witnessed the possibilities of the mission editor. But luckily for us, we only need to know a fraction of everything in the mission editor in order to make an entertaining and immersive mission. So let's start with going over the toolbar here. On the top here you have create new mission, and then you have open file. This is to open mission you have previously worked on, and to save of course, and create a mission briefing. Here you can write a short briefing of the situation and the tasks for the red and blue team. You're mostly using this one if you're playing multiplayer. Next up you set up the weather and of course time. And here are the triggers. I will do a separate video on it, so I won't go through it in this video. And then we have the mission goals. I rarely use this and I don't find it too useful. If you're creating a full-fledged campaign you will only use this, but if you're only creating simple missions you don't really need it. And then you have battlefield commanders. This is something you only do for multiplayer or if you want to play combined arms. And here is the mission options. Here you can, for example, dictate that you don't want any external views, or you want to be able to see everything on the F10 map and all that kind of stuff. You can choose if you want to have labels, simplified radios, so you don't have to change the frequency manually, and wake turbulence, G effects, and everything. And here you change your coalitions. And this one does exactly what it says. It's to fly your mission. And here is add airplane group. You use this one if you want to add an AI flight or a player flight, for instance. More on that later. Here you can add helicopter, exactly the same. And of course naval groups. All of these are pretty similar. And of course ground units. And if you have combined arms you can use all of them. And here are your templates. This is very useful because here you can add, for example, a Hawk battery, and without having to create one from scratch from a vehicle group. One more thing to add on templates is that some of the templates can lack certain assets like a radar or something, so they are incomplete and do not work as intended, so you need to keep that in the back of your mind. That is especially something I've noticed on Russian SAM batteries. So keep that in the back of your mind when using the templates, but I will have a separate video on setting up SAM sites. And down here we have our static objects, and it is exactly what it says it is. It is simply static objects. That means that, for example, ground vehicles do not perform any action. Artillery and anti-aircraft guns do not fire. They are simply static objects and pretty much just decorations. And here is our initial points. I have never used them. I haven't seen any use for them, so I won't touch on it. And here is our bullseye. I will explain in more detail what bullseyes is and how you use them efficiently in a separate video, but they are primarily used as a reference point on the map and especially for the AWAC. And here is our triggers. I use triggers a lot in my missions. and I will explain them further in future videos. And here's our trigger zone list. It can be useful when locating certain triggers. And of course you can edit them here. And here are view units. Currently there is none on this map. And here this is to remove units. And this one is map options. Here you can choose if you want to view airfields, for instance, on the map. Can be quite useful if you think your map is a bit cluttered and you want to remove user objects, for instance. And this is the draw tool. It can be useful when painting, for example, front lines on your map, SAM sites, and stuff like that to put on the F10 map. And this is simply a ruler, one you can use to measure, for example, the distance, like so. And of course heading. And up here we have, of course, file. This is pretty much like Microsoft Word, open, save, and all that. Edit. Here you can choose to use imperial or metric system, for instance, or choose your icons. And we have edit. You can use this one to add an airplane, just like pressing this one. And here we also have our shortcut keys, for example H to add an helicopter, for instance. And flight, fly mission, and record and replay and all that kind of stuff. Here you can also build your campaign. This is for advanced users. Here is customize. This is also a bit more for advanced users. Here's the mission generator. Here you can generate, for example, a quick mission. Those who have played Lock On is familiar with that one. And here are templates. And here are miscellaneous. The encyclopedia is here. This one can be quite useful if you want to just check out the modules or maybe read a bit about weapons. I preferably like this weapon here a lot. Keep in mind that there are not information on all the weapons, so you need to keep that in mind. So let's get on with creating a mission together. This is a completely made up scenario, as fictional nation and everything. I'm simply calling ourselves the nation we will be playing as, not Iran, and we will start on Kish airfield, like so. And you can see I have added a few units already. So let's start with adding a few more static objects to make the airfield seem less barren and less sterile and more alive, like you would on a real airfield. Let's add a few static objects right there. Click this or press O, like so. Let's add a diesel generator here, just for the sake of it. One more, oops, one more here. You can of course copy it by pressing Ctrl C and Ctrl V, like so, just like you would with Word. Let's add a few more fuel trucks. When I'm thinking about it, let's move this one a little bit, like so. Looks like they are rearming an aircraft. Like so. And let's add a fuel truck driving past us when we are starting up, just to spice things up a little bit, like so. Let's go to unarmed. And another thing, when adding units, you might wanna just click on combined task forces, because they have every unit on display, in case you don't find the one you're looking for. Ah, there we go. This one, and have it drive like so. Oops. And press add to add a route. Let's set up his speed a little bit. let's see, 15, like so. And let him just drive over there, like so. And here I have added an airplane group that is going to fly at an altitude of 1000 feet at 500 knots over the airfield while we are starting up, just to just for the atmosphere's sake. So let's add our own flight. Let's go to add airplane group, and let's select, and of course we're choosing the F-14 Tomcat. Press here, and let's start up cold, so take off from ramp, and let's go for this skin right here, and let's give ourselves a few little bit of ordnance, like so. Yeah, I think this will be fine. And then you need to go to skill and set it to either client or player. We're going to go for player right here because it's only us and it's going to be a single player mission. And we will click on INS reference alignment stored. This is just so the alignment takes a shorter amount of time. And also I'm not going to add any wingman because I really don't like the AI in DCS. I'd like to play my single player missions alone pretty much. So I think that will be it for this video. In the next video I will show you how to set up waypoints and AWACS. So that will be it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.